You're listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Powered by our friends over at Unique Beats. Let's get this rock and rolling. Hey, I'm Doc. I'm here at Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. So I've got a very, very special surprise for you coming on later on the show. I'm going to be joined by Tim Steinruck from The Mighty One. He's also a fellow ISSA Awards finalist. I had a great time talking to Tim. He was just so cool. I think you guys will enjoy the interview. So anyway, though, let's get the rock rolling here. As I always say, I've got Blacklist Union first with their song Letters from the Psych Ward. I'll see you guys back here in a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Facilitation for the motivation of healing my soul. Blaming everyone for so long is a deadly game. Pointing fingers all the time. Can you travel in your mind? 'Cause the job is inside. A coup d'etat's about to go down. From the sidewalk. This is filled with clowns. In a moment is the key for freeing you and releasing me. Your break has come to town. Pointing fingers all the time. Can you travel in your mind? 'Cause the job is inside. A coup d'etat's about to go down. From the sidewalk. From the sidewalk. From the sidewalk. From the sidewalk.
La Chiesa è per tutti, e anche preferentemente per i cattivi, perché la Chiesa è misericordia.
From the sidewalk.
witch! Burn, 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 burn!
And that was Kill Hall with Fear Shaped Man. Before that, that was Dead King's Peace with Burnin' Alive. What I've got up next for you is Damnation Plan with Under the Veil of Sea. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
the past reflecting me. The storm keeps raging on. Under the veil of the sea, we have buried our lives. Thousand centuries gone, revealing for me. Under the veil of the sea, it's leading back to us all, watching us to reform, ancient souls reborn. Reveal me, unveil me the sea.
Hey, I'm Doc here on Ecstasy Radio, and I'm joined by Tim Steinruck from The Mighty One. Getting tongue-tied here. Tim, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, Ben.
Oh, man, it's so great to be here, Doc. And a very good morning to you from Vancouver, Canada.
How's it up there in Vancouver?
It is warm, man. It is warm. I'm actually hiding in the recording studio right now. And, yeah, it's already 30 degrees. Well, I don't know what that is for you guys. I guess that's about 80 or so.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's getting pretty warm down here, yeah. So we're up into the, I think we've actually reached into the upper 80s down here, yeah, in Tennessee.
Nice. Nice. Love it. I love the summertime. It's my favorite time of year. Makes me appreciate rock and roll even more. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here. I think we had a barbecue last night that we finished up at about 5 a.m., which would be about 4 hours ago.
Very nice, man. What'd you cook?
It was a late night meal of steak and potatoes.
Very nice.
Really simple. Oh, we had a nice salad in there too. But there's nothing like barbecuing on a hot summer night.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. We have a thing down here as well. With hot summer nights, we have hot boiled peanuts. If you've ever had those.
Hot boiled peanuts, you said?
Yeah, they're boiled peanuts, and they're kind of mushy, and I don't know, they're a southern favorite here.
Interesting. It's kind of a tradition, or what?
Yeah, I would say it's a cultural thing. Yeah, it's they're like, it's I don't know if they're enjoyed all over the U.S., but down here in the South, they're definitely like a kind of like a snack food, and they're sometimes enjoyed as like a delicacy, I guess.
Interesting. And as like with some spice to it or anything like that? Or
yeah, what? I mean, some of them do come spicy. I don't like mine spicy. I don't like spice. But yeah, they're usually pretty salty though.
I like that. Probably pairs well with a nice beer.
It does. Yep, I've had them with beer before. All right, man. So I want to first and foremost congratulate you on being a finalist and in the ISSA's awards. And you've been nominated for several awards, actually.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice big surprise to have those nominations. Not only for the band. I mean, for the band, the big one is band of the year, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then we've got album of the year, and then there's a bunch of personal ones for myself as a songwriter, including that the darker side of me, which I know that you like, mm-hmm. and the video, and man, yeah, it's just I'm headed to Atlanta. What can I say? I'm going to be in Atlanta on August 5th. I'm going to go walk the red carpet with full intention of walking away with some hardware.
There you go, man. I'll meet you there because I'm also a finalist. I made it in the finals.
I know you are. We're gonna get our picture taken together on the red carpet.
I hope so, man. I can't wait to meet you. So, where did your
congratulations. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, where did your journey begin with music?
Oh, my journey began, I guess, as a very young kid growing up in northern British Columbia. I grew up on a farm, and I think the nearest town was like 40 or 50 miles away. So it was a very rural upbringing. And music, I come from a German family. Music was always in our family. And we, the church was it was the only sort of social thing available to us, right? Because it was the only sort of get-together place for miles around. And so my dad was the organist there, and my mom really liked to sing, and she was the Sunday school superintendent. So, we started practicing, performances for Sundays when I was a young kid. So I've been in show business since I was about 6 years old.
Very nice. Very nice. So you're also a part of the band, The Mighty One, which you mentioned earlier. Where did that name come from?
The Mighty One, it's funny. I tried for years. We'll go back to my history. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I've been trying to keep a band together for quite some time, from until in the 90s. I was really trying to keep a band together, but I was really, growing as a songwriter. And these bands just kept breaking up all the time. I had this idealist thing of, it's four guys, they're brothers in a band, and it's got to be that. It's got to be like Van Halen. It's got to be like Kiss. It's got to be. And one day I was just sitting there, and the band had broken up again, and I just realized, holy crap! It's really just, in the end, why don't I just work on it being me? And so I became the Mighty One.
Very nice.
That's
And
where that came from.
okay. And who are the other musicians that you share the stage with?
So right now, my brother Bob Wagner played on the drums. He and I have been working together on this for about 15 years. So I had this idea of this band built around myself, but of course, I don't play all the instruments, and drums was one of them. And Bob stepped in, and he and I have been in this brotherhood that is the Mighty One for quite some time. He's my partner in it. So really the core of the band is Bob and myself. Bass player's name is Chris Campbell. He's a Jamaican guy. Been working with Chris on and off, since about 2011. And he was gone for a few years with somebody else. Chris is back in, and we've got a whole range of lead guitar players that we work with. We've got various people that we work with. So, we've got a core, and then we've got lots of people coming in to help out.
Very nice. Very nice. So, Tim, every week I ask my audience a weekly question. Obviously, that's why it's called the weekly question. This week's question, right? So this week's question is, do you have a guilty pleasure when it comes to music?
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely did some of that last night. I have to say it's still Kiss and Van Halen. I mean, that's, I'll always go back to that. If I'm in a mood like I was last night, I'll always go back to that. Those are my, those are the bands that I love to listen to. And I think it's because it's what I grew up on, right?
Right.
So, it's like your favorite food, you know what I mean? You always go back to that guilty pleasure of going back to those first few records. For me, it was the very first Van Halen album, and also Kiss Destroyer. Those two records are my guilty pleasure.
Very nice. Very nice. Mine, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I like some of my guilty pleasures. I like that band Tattoo out of Russia. I like their songs. Their song, all the things she said. I like that one, even though it was kind of controversial, or at least the music video was. Let's see. I like Lady Gaga. Very
interesting choice.
Yeah. I like Lady Gaga's Paparazzi. And I don't know, I like it. I'm not into like pop or anything like that, but I don't know, it's just something about the song I like. So those would be two of the probably my guiltiest pleasures right there. You know,
Those are your go-tos, eh? I like it.
yeah. I mean, I listen to all sorts of stuff. I mean, I grew up in a musical family as well, and um, I grew up with all sorts of music. I like I don't like modern country very much, but I like some of the older country hits and stuff. I like the Statler Brothers and things like that. I grew up with all sorts of music, so I just try to appreciate it from every angle that I can.
Yeah, I mean, I do. There's been a bit of a nostalgic thing for me. Just some of those Canadian artists that I grew up with. Like Gordon Lightfoot passed recently, and going back to some of his stuff really made me realize how that had really affected me and shaped my musical taste, because I'm sure that as we were driving around in the farm truck, with the 8-track tape player going, listening to this music, I know that it affected me in a big way. And when Gordon Lightfoot passed, I just sat down and listened to the greatest hits record, which was the one we always had. And this huge flood of memories came back. And then I just, because I played some acoustic music and stuff like that too. And I just realized, wow, he's been a huge influence on my life. And so, I really believe that those early years of music, when we're first hearing stuff for the first time, that impact will never go away.
No, it definitely doesn't. And, I think in a way it also helps shape you into who you become later on. Definitely.
Absolutely. It shaped myself as a songwriter. I know that listening to that growing up really shaped me. The other album that sticks out a lot too is Nazareth. The Nazareth Greatest Hits. That was another one I absolutely love. And people, I get it all the time that there's, I get the comparison that I sort of take that approach to vocals sometimes. So
very nice. Very nice. So we're going to get into that actually now. You mentioned your song Darker Side of Me. You've been nominated on several awards for that. Tell me a little bit about that song. Where did it come from? What is the background of that song? Where did it come from?
It came from, the realization. It came after there was a bit of a fight in the band. The bass player at the time, not Chris, but our other bass player, he and I kind of got into it one night. I lost I kind of lost my cool. He'd been pissing me off all night long, and things got really, really dark. This realization that we all have a shadow side to us. That we can, when you know how it is when you walk out in the sunshine, the brighter the sun is, the more pronounced your shadow is going to be behind you as you're walking into the sun.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I just thought, I think that's the way that we all are. We all have a darker side. Some people want to suppress it, or they don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to admit it. In that song, from that situation that happened, I just realized that I need to embrace that part of me and make a peace with it. I think that's really what that song is about. So realizing that our darker side is in some ways, a superpower that we have if we can make peace with it. I don't think it's a good place to live there all the time. I like to live in the light, I'm a very positive person. I'm a very, I love positive things. I love being in a good mood, but I'm also very aware that I have a darker side, and I embrace that also. And writing a song about it was a great way to get it out.
Very nice. So it's pretty much a song about contrast, from what you're telling me. It's about, appreciate the darker things because they also help you appreciate the lighter things.
Absolutely. It's all a matter of perspective, right?
Right.
You know, we've always been sort of programmed to ignore the dark or step away from the dark or pretend that it's not there. Whereas, I think it's something that is a great place for creativity. I can tell you that much.
Right. So it's kind of like, appreciate the rainy days, and they, because they help you appreciate the sunny days. So that's really cool.
It's so true. It's so true. That's a very beautiful analogy.
Thank you. Anyway, so tell me about the video. Where was that filmed, and give me a little bit of a background about that.
Yeah. So actually, I filmed the videos. A lot of the nature scenes were done here in the rainforest. I was out camping with the family. And we have this beautiful place that we go and camp at. It's called Golden Ears, and we go camping around Thanksgiving. So it's already here in Vancouver. We're already fully into the rainy season, and we live in the rainforest. So I went out and shot some stuff in the rainforest itself, and then I shot a little bit of footage of Bob here in the studio, and then I sent it off to our editor. His name is Juan from Set Films, and he's actually a 24-year-old kid in Colombia. And he also put together some amazing imagery inside of that also and put the whole video together. So it was shot in a very, very, again, very shadowy way. One of the main scenes of that video is me just singing into a mirror, right? So just singing to my own image. So knowing that there is, two people that reside in this body of Tim's, and they, definitely one of them is of a darker sort. So, doing that in a mirror was very powerful.
It's a very beautiful scene. If you haven't checked out the video, definitely do that. Yeah, it's a very beautiful scene. I was going to ask you about that, about kind of singing to yourself, singing to your own reflection of yourself. I don't know. To me, it's just very poetic.
Yeah, it's interesting. Shot that across the street. My good friend of mine is sort of a world famous photographer, and he's got a studio, and we set it up. So, yeah, he just again shot it just from behind, observing me singing the song to myself. It just had so much, as you said, it was rather poetic.
Very nice. Yeah, it is very poetic image. Very, very, very poetic image. So this is The Mighty One with Darker Side of Me, and I'm joined here by Tim Steinruck from The Mighty One. We'll see you guys back here after a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
There's a place I sometimes go where it's raining, mist and cold, far away from peaceful light and warm. But I hold it, I embrace dark cloud shadows cross my face, Viking anger and a lust for more. And you reflect that part of me, and in your eyes I see the darker side of me. Always near, it walks beside me like a silent friend. your driving force, for putting a finger down your throat, a pattern from your darkest place, creating chronic remorse. The drug that enslaves, empowers self-hatred. You bend the truth, it keeps you safe. That's how you hold on to your faith. Kill the light, don't kill your light. Surrender, restore, and revive. Oh, how I wish you could see yourself through my eyes, but you're broken inside. Self-delusions ate you alive. Believe in me, I'll prove you wrong. Picture perfect, that's what you are. I do not have the power in me to change you and make you believe. You fight the demons in your head. Will they conquer everything? Every cell in me prays for you to break free. Tear down the walls to clarity. Rebuild self-identity. Kill the light, don't kill your light. Surrender, restore, and revive. Oh, how I wish you could see yourself through my eyes, but you're broken inside. Self-delusions ate you alive. Believe in me, I'll prove you wrong. Picture perfect, that's what you are. It kills me to see a waste of a human being. You precious little thing, exhausted and so drained. Picture perfect. Kill the light, don't kill your light. Surrender, restore, and revive. Oh, how I wish you could see yourself through my eyes. Kill the light, don't kill your light. Surrender, restore, and revive. Oh, how I wish you could see yourself through my eyes. But you're broken inside. Self-delusions ate you alive. Believe in me, I'll prove you wrong. Picture perfect, that's what you are. Picture perfect, that's what you Come to me in a dream. Tell me what you are, what you need. Come to me as anything. Come to me.
And that was White Whale by Penny Fountain. Before that, that was Frail with Picture Perfect. What I've got up next for you guys is Son of Man with Rebirth. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Let's go.
Stop the empty lights, hold the mass redemption all for yourself. Lights not what it seems, you're on this new regime that burns in your soul, imagine yourself. In this place it starts, on your face a price for your blood and all that you are. Free from all diseases while you're picking through the pieces and you're all they decide or as they crawl through the ground. Now they search for starlight. Where the screen is the light. I crave you. Can't stop the empty lights. Hold the mass redemption all for yourself. Night's not what it seems. You're on this new regime that burns in your soul. Imagine yourself. In this place that starts on your face a price for your blood and all that you are. Free from all diseases while you're picking through the pieces and you're all they decide or as they crawl through the ground. Now they search for starlight. Where the screen is the light. What's wrong? I've been seeing your hair. I've been seeing you. I've been seeing you. I can see your hair. I can see you. I can see that you what's wrong with you? I can see your I can see I can see that you what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, motherfucker? Now you're king. In this place it starts on your face a price for your blood and all that you are. Free from all diseases while you're picking through the pieces and you're all they desire as they crawl from the ground.
Hey, I'm Doc here on Ecstasy Radio, and I'm joined by Tim Steinruck from the Mighty Ones. So, Tim, I have to ask you, who really inspired you, with your music, and where did the sound from the Mighty One come from?
Well, my musical journey as far as inspiration goes back to those early days as I was growing up, and got into Kiss. Again, that first Kiss record was a really big deal. Destroyer. I think that shaped a lot of the way that I approach songwriting. I did work with Paul Stanley for a number of years. I got this childhood dream of wanting to work with Kiss became a reality in 1989.
Very nice.
And so that experience shaped the sound that I have now. I take that same approach. The thing that for me though is I've always been more of a bass player than a guitar player, and so I wanted to find a lower sound on the guitar. So that's when I found the 7-string guitar, and so I love those lower chords, those lower tones, because it's that space between a bass and a guitar, a typical guitar. In between there is that sound, and that's where that came from.
Do you have an entire album? Because we talked about Darker Side of Me. Do you have an entire album for that planned, or is there one out?
Yeah, so that Darker Side of Me is a single from the Torch of Rock and Roll, which is an album that we released in 2021 during the pandemic. And I think Darker Side of Me is like the 6th single from that record.
Okay.
So you can check out Torch of Rock and Roll. You know, it's that album is basically the past, the present, and the future all pulled together. Torch of Rock and Roll, the song, is actually the story of me at 13 years old having this awakening experience of my purpose. I got a little story around that if I can, Doc.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So as I told you, the church was, that's where I got my start in music as far as learning about music, playing there, performing there, learned about vocals and harmonies in the choir and things like that. And then, I got that first Kiss record, and it's funny because it was, talk about guilty pleasures. I actually stole that record from the hardware store because I loved it so much. We'd only go into town, once every week or 2 weeks, and I would always go to the hardware store to the record section, and I'd pick up all the albums and check them out. But that cover, that always just kind of spoke to me. And I didn't have much money as a kid, especially growing up on a farm. So one day I was in town, and I'd been looking at this record for a number of weeks, and I just went, you know what, this record is mine. And I didn't try to stick it into my jacket or anything like that. I just took it, and I left that store proudly with that album in my hand, knowing it was mine. And once I did that, and started playing electric guitar, like I'd played drums in the church. I'd, obviously sang, played bass in the church, played acoustic guitar. But when I got an electric guitar and an amplifier and started going to the church on Sundays to play with my dad, it wasn't so cool anymore. They didn't really like the distorted hymns. You know what I mean?
I would imagine not.
So I was asked to, yes, you're welcome to come, but please don't bring the electric guitar. And pretty soon that's how it was at my house too, right? My dad was like, I'm sorry, son, you can't play that in the house anymore. So we had a lot of outbuildings on the farm, and we had these silos, these silver silos for holding grain, because it was a grain farm. And so the one day I decided that I'm going to use one of these buildings to play it, to set up my amp. So I set up my amp, and I ran like 300 feet of extension cord to the chicken and pig barn, and I plugged it in, and I went back and I plugged in my amp, plugged in my guitar, plugged everything in, cranked it to 10, and I hit that first chord, and it was the sound of purpose. You know what I mean?
I can't even imagine the acoustics in an old silo like that.
It was incredible. It was like I'd never been to a rock show before. I'd never been to a concert, but I knew it was like I'd done it before in some past lifetime or something. All these things came rushing in, and it was just like, it was the day the torch of rock and roll was born.
There you go, man. Very cool. Very cool. So I want to ask about your live shows. What is the most important thing to you when doing a live show?
The most important thing. Well, first of all, connection with the audience. Okay. Yeah. My goal is always that people come to the show. When they leave a little bit different than they were before they came. So I really believe in creating a transformational experience. So this is not just entertainment. I'm not there just to entertain. I want people to feel something. I want to take them on an emotional ride with the music. That's why I write music that is dynamically diverse. right? It's not just all one. It's not all just one pace or one dynamic. I'm going to take you up. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to make you, check out the darker side of yourself. And we're also going to celebrate, and we're also going to have a rock and roll party. So all of those things together, much like the torch of rock and roll is, I want to take people on a journey.
Very
That's
nice.
the most important thing. And I want them to leave somewhat transformed or look at life in a slightly different way after being to one of our shows.
Very nice. And what do you love most about performing live?
Oh, I love the whole vibe. I love, the jet engine, sound of a band, at full tilt. Nothing beats that. And the way that just the vibrations of the sound go through your body. I love, just getting hot and sweaty and just pouring it all out.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about what I do. So I'd have to say that my favorite thing is just the pure power that comes with a band that's, if it's well rehearsed and everything is tuned together nicely. That full power is something you can't compare that to anything.
No, you can't. It's a very cathartic experience. It very much is.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Who
well
have you,
said.
Thank you. So who have you shared the stage with? I know you've shared the stage with Son of Man, because I interviewed Tyler from Son of Man.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. I actually interviewed him on the show several months ago. So I know you've shared the stage with him. Who else have you shared the stage with?
Well, one that sticks out for me recently, just before the pandemic, was a band from Mexico called El Tri. And El Tri they're kind of like the Rolling Stones of Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you heard of them before?
No, I have not. No.
Okay, check them out. ELTRI, El Tri. And so we shared the stage with them just before the pandemic, and that was a really, really cool experience because they're like people who come to see this band, Latin American people, they're crazy passionate about them. And I remember we'd gone for something to eat after sound check. We came back and El Tri was going to be the headliner, so we were on just before them. But they'd started the show with a mariachi band.
Really?
Playing all this classic mariachi. Yeah, it was called Mariachi and Rock was the name of the show. So I like to play interesting shows, and these people were singing at the top of their lungs. And when we got on stage, before we even started playing, they were kind of like chanting. And I'm like, oh, this is cool, man. These guys are totally into us. We haven't even started playing yet. I found out later that they were chanting, "Motherfuckers."
Very nice.
They wanted us to get off the stage so that El Tri would get on.
Oh man.
But so I didn't realize, that they were a little bit hostile, but I won them over really, really quickly. And I'll tell you, Doc, this was planned. There's one of our singles. It's called Reprieve. It's from our first album, and I had transposed that into Spanish, and so I addressed the audience in Spanish, and I told them we're gonna play songs from our heart. And then I launched into Reprieve and sang it in Spanish. I had them in the palm of my hand within one song.
Very nice, man. I can't believe you did that. I wouldn't have the balls to do that. I wouldn't, but I'd be afraid. I'd be afraid.
I was unaware, really, that they were so hostile to me.
That is amazing, man. So, who would you like to share the stage with that you haven't yet?
Well, there's a bunch of classic bands I'd love to share the stage with. Obviously, my dream would be to get on the stage with Paul Stanley, who was the manager of the band for years. I'm still feeling like that might be possible at some point, and I'll tell you why about that in a bit. But yeah, I'd say that would to have this history of with my hero from a young child to having a management deal with him and working with him, to having it all taken away, and now being kind of at the point again where it might be possible to work with him again. Sharing the stage with him would be the ultimate situation.
Very nice. So Paul Stanley is the manager of the Mighty One?
No, Paul Stanley was manager of a band called Unchained. So I had a Van Halen tribute band in the '80s, which was massive in North America. That sort of morphed into an original band that really, Van Halen had David Lee Roth was gone. He was on his own. We had Van Hagar, and we were pretty upset about that because we loved classic Van Halen. So we wrote songs that were kind of like classic Van Halen, but we did, they were our own songs, but they had that flavor. And one day Kiss was playing here in Vancouver, and it was the Hot in the Shade tour, I think 1989, as a matter of fact. And we knew that they hung out at the Four Seasons Hotel, that's where they were staying, right? That's where all the rock stars stayed. So we went there with a friend of ours who had a fanzine, a Kiss fanzine, and Eric Carr was in the lounge, allowed us to sit down with him, and we gave him our tape. And the next day we got a call from Paul Stanley while he was on the bus on the way to Seattle, and it was like, "Hey boys, love this music. Will you be our guest tonight?"
Very nice, man.
And we went to see it.
Very nice.
It was a dream story, my friend.
Well, congratulations on that. That is, not a lot of bands can say that. Not a lot of bands can share a story like that. So that is awesome. So I want to ask you, if you could meet any musician, alive or dead, which one and why would you want to meet them? That question is meant
Jimi
to be...
Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix. I think Jimi Hendrix and I would get along really well. And I think that he would have I thought he had a very interesting take on life. I think it'd be an amazing conversation. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix.
He was cut so short from his life.
Yeah.
God, that good
well,
choice.
He's part of the 27 Club, right?
I believe he was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And unfortunate. As unfortunate as it is. Yeah. And, but at least when it comes to bands and musicians that are cut down like that so young, to me, I don't say goodbye to them. I say thank you. Because
amen to that. And I that's the beautiful thing about music and recordings. As I sit here right now in my recording studio, this is the place where you capture legacy. And those legacies live forever. Much like that feeling that I got from listening to Gordon Lightfoot recently. When you do a great recording, when you capture a song, you create a legacy. And Jimmy did that, of course, in spades, right?
Yeah.
And so now I take that approach to every single recording that I make, whether I'm making it for myself or I'm making it for somebody else, knowing that I'm making art that is going to last forever.
Right. And it doesn't go away anymore either. I mean, you put something out there on the internet now, it'll never go away. So I take that same approach when it comes to radio, and I make sure that everything that I record and, to me, not to make this about me, I'm interviewing you, but, I try to, I try to use the platform that I have to connect with people like you, like musicians and, as well as the audience, try to be the bridge between the musician and the audience. And, music is a very powerful tool, and, it's in my opinion, it's actually the most powerful tool, and, in connecting people with other people. So it's just, I don't know. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it can be used in so many different ways. I mean, let's face it, a national anthem can, even in the old days, that they would sing their national anthem or play whatever it is before they go into war, right, to get themselves hyped up for it. Music is a very powerful thing to motivate people to do all sorts of different stuff. But one of the things that I've noticed a lot is it's like a signpost of a time. It captures the feeling of what was happening at the time. Like when I listen back now. Go ahead.
Like a sonic diary.
Like a sonic diary. Ooh, beautifully. I love that. Sonic diary. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like, that's why the torch of rock and roll, I think, for me is my favorite record of everything I've ever done. It was simply because it was recorded and written and recorded during the pandemic when there was really nowhere to go but just be here in the studio every single day. And that almost became like a 2-year ceremony, as it were, almost. Right. I really approached it that way. And so that's captured forever. Yeah. In that record, and that's huge.
It is. Definitely. Tim, I love talking to you, but fortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately. I say that every show, but it's true. I love talking to my guests, but I do have to introduce the next song. So this is Endless Exam with their song I Ain't Your Toy. I'm here with Tim Steinruck from The Mighty One. We'll catch you guys back here after a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Just to please you.
And that was our good friends Avalanche with Little Lotus. Before that, was Samantha Laporta with Lies Are Your Truth. What I've got up next for you is Rylos with Icebreaker. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
So it begun, the pressure was on. One necessary meeting, need to take control. Tightening the knot, keeping my cool. Step into the hall, ready to take on. He stepped into the conference, acting like you own that place. Your emotions rose when you saw my face. You felt connection with me, and your heart melted. I am your icebreaker. Been playing this role my whole career. I was a heartless bastard, one to abandon. I step into the conference, acting like I own the place. My emotions rose when I saw your face. I felt connection with you, and my heart melted. You are my icebreaker. We step into the conference, acting like we own the place. Our emotions rose when we saw each other. We felt connection, our hearts melted. We break the ice together. We step into the conference, acting like we own the place. Our emotions rose when we saw each other. We felt connection, our hearts melted. We break the ice together.
Hey, I'm Doc here at Ecstasy Radio, and I'm joined here by Tim Steinruck from the Mighty Ones. So, Tim, tell me about your plans for the rest of 2023.
2023. Okay, so we're in production for a new record. We want to have something ready to go by the beginning of next year. So that's what we're working on right now. We're working on some live shows. There's some touring coming in place. As you know, you'd mentioned Tyler from Son of Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I met Tyler when I was out as co-director, co-producer, and sort of a host of a TV reality show called Rise Up TV that takes 5 bands on the road, 5 different gigs in 5 different cities, 5 different days. And we get on a luxury tour bus and we capture all the shenanigans of all of that. And so that's where I met Tyler. So we've got some more Rise Up tours planned. We're going to North Carolina in, I guess that's in November. We'll be heading down to North Carolina. We're going to Nashville, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and stuff like that. So we've got a tour going on with that. And before that, it's a very good chance. It's not 100% confirmed, but we've been invited to play at International Independent Music Festival in southern India.
Really?
It's this huge festival that they started last year, and they like to bring bands from around the world. We're in talks right now to potentially go there before we do this tour to North Carolina. So that's kind of exciting. But before that, of course, is the ISSA, and going there, meeting you, enjoying Atlanta. I've got some meetings with a few different managers and agents that I'm working with in New York. So it'll be definitely a celebration. Going to take a victory lap, and also do some great business and set things in place for 2024 when we release the new record and some of the new singles coming up.
Very nice. And you mentioned that Nashville is on your way, right? We are actually we're based out of Cookeville, Tennessee, which is about an hour, maybe an hour and a half outside of Nashville. So if you make your way down here, definitely you got to come visit me.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I'd love that. That's one of the cities in the U.S. that I haven't been to, is Nashville. And I know it's known for country, but it's got an amazing rock and metal scene too.
It does.
So I'm really I'm looking forward to checking that out. Yeah. And just seeing the eastern seaboard there a little bit, the Carolinas is, again, somewhere I haven't been. And there's like a paddle wheeler that we're supposed to play on for this show. What's it called? The Southern Belle. Have you heard that thing?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah. So we're supposed to play on the Southern Belle. And I think it holds like 2,000 or 3,000 people. It's a huge paddle wheeler and a really classic venue. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Bob and I from the band here, we just came back from Europe. We were there in the fall last year. We did 5 countries in 5 days.
Very nice.
It was pretty epic.
Wow.
Probably the most epic moment was we went to Normandy, France, the Utah beach where the Americans landed. Of course, there was the Americans, there was Canadians, there was all sorts of them on D-Day in 1944, I believe.
Yeah.
And so we wrote a song to honor the veterans. And if people go to our website, which is themightyone.rocks, right on the front page is something called The Warrior. And that Warrior song is what we played on the beach in Normandy. So we believe in having unique experiences, and I believe that traveling to different places in the world is the way to have those experiences. I'm not really a guy who likes to play the regular type of gigs and shows. I want to play something interesting. There's not a lot of money in music anymore. So, oftentimes you have to invest to make these things happen. So if you're going to invest, well, let's make sure it's an awesome experience. Right. I believe that's what money's for, Doc. I believe that money is there to purchase experiences.
Definitely. But, while you're there, give a part of yourself. Give a part of yourself.
100%. I want to leave that memory for people that, wow, I saw the Mighty One, or I met Tim, or whatever, and it changed my life a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. All the experience. I get where you're coming from when it comes to traveling. I've done quite a bit of that in the past myself, and I always just try to experience the location that I'm at. And try to get the best experience out of it that I can, but also experience it from a very real, perspective as well. Just try to capture it, in my brain, I guess, and use that, use those captures to not only remember, but to as inspiration down the road, I guess.
100%. For me, it's always content for a song, or it may trigger something that brings on a song.
Yep.
I I see music everywhere, and I write about my experiences with what's happening in life, and so to have amazing experiences is also, you know, great content to use for writing amazing songs.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, and I totally agree with you, man. So what does it mean to you because we are both finalists in the ISSA's awards. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you to be a finalist?
You know, there's a recognition there, I think, that's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Being the main one being sort of nominated to be Songwriter of the Year, finalist and Songwriter of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Songwriting is what I do. I believe that creativity is the ultimate expression of our soul. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I write a song, it comes from that place.
Yeah.
That place that no one knows except for me. So to be honored to be a finalist for Songwriter of the Year,
mm-hmm.
that's pretty huge. You know, I've been songwriting my whole life. There's been lots of ups. There's been lots of downs. You know, I've had the multi-million-dollar record deal that I've signed. You know, I've had nothing too. And I've been living. I'd live in my van. After that all fell apart, I lived in my van. So I've been to the highest highs and the lowest lows. But that recognition of your creativity and that it's a special thing that has touched somebody, that for me is what those ISSA finalist awards are about. It's recognition.
Very nice. And if you can, which awards have you been nominated for?
I can't. I'll see if I can remember them all. So the Songwriter of the Year, there's Torture Rock and Roll is Album of the Year. Darker Side of Me is Single of the Year. Mm-hmm. The video for it is Video of the Year. I'm also Emerging Artist and Rising Artist. I'm not sure what the difference is between the two of those, but I got both of those. I think that's it. Yeah.
Very nice. Very.
It's like six or seven that I'm nominated for.
That's very cool, man. That's very cool. And again, congratulations for all of those. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Doc. And congratulations on you and Ecstasy being nominated for Radio Station of the Year.
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. So what is the best advice you've ever been given?
When you're playing music, if you make a mistake, the next time that part comes around in the song, play that same mistake again. Because it shows you're proving that you actually meant it. That was it. I played some blues. There was an old blues guy. He said that, you're like, you made that really bad note. When it comes around again, just play it again. And just like you meant it. You know what I mean?
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. I have to actually take that advice with me, actually, when I do my own songwriting and performances. Very nice. Very nice. I love that. So, Tim, is there anything that you would like to share with your fans that might be listening out there?
Come and connect with us, right? Come to the mighty1.rocks. That's the portal to everything that we've got, all of our music and stuff like that. But I'm a people person. I want to meet people, and I interact with every fan on a personal basis. I always do, right? If you email me, or if you sign up for the newsletter or whatever, or just reach out to me on Facebook, I'm very accessible. I want to meet you personally, and I want to hear about your life, because I'm inspired by other people's lives too. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love doing these interviews, with you, because I do this on a regular basis with others too. Yep. I've got a podcast and stuff like that. And one thing you don't know, maybe, Doc, is that I'm also a personal life coach.
Really?
So I work with people on a very intimate level. Mm-hmm. So that's my number one thing, is I love connecting intimately with anybody from all walks of life. All different kinds of people, happy people, mad people, weird people, bad people, good people. I love them all. because there's always something to learn.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Congratulations, Tim, again, for your nominations at the ISSA Awards. And I cannot wait to meet you on the red carpet. I cannot wait to meet you, man.
It is going to be an amazing moment. I also look forward to our meeting and getting to know you a little better, Doc.
You're getting a big hug. I hope you know that.
I can't wait.
All right, man. So thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I've been wanting to have you here for God knows how long, and you know, I love your song Darker Side of Me, and I've been really looking forward to talking to you, and I can't believe that I'm actually talking to you right now because I'm kind of starstruck a little bit, but
Thanks.
it's been so nice having you here. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem, and let's do it again if we can.
Definitely. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I hope this is not a one-time deal. I hope you'll come back on the show.
I look forward to it. I really enjoy Ecstasy Radio and everything that you do there.
Thank you.
And your whole family that makes that place happen. It is one of the most amazing radio stations for independent hard rock and metal artists. And you showing and breaking our music to everybody has so much value. And I bow humbly to you and thank you so much for what you do there.
Thank you. We're just trying to introduce people to their new favorite bands. So we put in a lot of work here, but thank you. That means a lot to hear.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Doc. Have an amazing day.
You too. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
All right. And as I always say, Doc, feel the fire, keep it burning for it to rock and roll.
There you go, man. All right, man. You have a good one.
You too.
Bye. And that was my good friend, Tim Steinruck from The Mighty One. Tim, you are always welcome back on the show, and I most definitely hope you do come back on the show. I had a great time interviewing you and talking with you. So what I've got up next for you guys is Surplus with Make Believe. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Any other day and any other way, yeah. Open up the gates and let the devil send to play. I'm not your God, I'm just a gun. Now you're left wondering how could it all have turned round the wound, round the knife when you're one-sided but bravery. Now you're left wondering how could it all have turned out to be. Every word that you spew based upon nothing but make-believe.
Before you slip into my mind, won't you spend a little time amongst the wasted? We the ones left behind. Grab my things, hit the road towards the world that I've been missing. Gotta find a place to call my own where I can spend a little time. Dare to dream when you don't belong. Lone wolf at the break of dawn. When you need to hand in hand we go. Let the piper play a song in the ashes that glow. Hush, don't make a sound, escape from where we've been bound. Open your eyes, isn't it profound? We are the left behind, the deeper minds, the renowned. We are the lost and round and round we go, no longer lost, but
and that was Fear Out with All Together. Before that, that was the Cordell Winter Band with Feed Your Head. What I've got up next for you is Coven Thrall with Dreadnought. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Hey, I'm Doc, and I'm the host of Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. I've got a new song coming up at you. It is Red 11 with Blackbird. I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys back here after a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Quietly follow.
And that was Dead End Finland with Heavy Rains. Before that, that was our good friends Alessa with Clear Sky Is Not a Curse. What I've got up next for you is Endless Chain with Blind Kings. You were listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
We're running
Hey, I'm Doc, and I'm the host of Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show, but unfortunately, I do have to end the show now. But you guys know me, I'm never one to leave you guys empty-handed. Never, never, never. I've got Van City in last with their song, The Hunt. I think you guys will love that one. I most definitely do. So I'll see you guys back here again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel as always. Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'll see you then. You guys have a great week. Please do take care of yourselves. And thank you so much for rocking out with me.